Ford has announced a major restructuring in Europe with plans to cut about 4,000 jobs of its European workforce. And this comes as the automaker is grappling with weak demand for electric vehicles, a challenging economic environment and increasing competition, particularly from the Chinese EV makers.
Ford has just dropped a bombshell, and it's sending shockwaves through the entire automotive world. This isn't just a minor tweak or a flashy new vehicle reveal. It's a seismic shift in strategy that could redefine how we think about cars, dealerships, and even the future of driving. At the heart of this announcement is a bold move that's sparking both excitement and controversy. Ford has made the surprising decision to cancel a $2 billion electric SUV project, a vehicle meant to rival offerings from brands like Kia and Volvo. But that's not all. They're also delaying the successor to the F-150 Lightning, signaling a major shift in how the automaker approaches electrification. Instead of going all in on EVs, Ford is doubling down on hybrids as a stepping stone for drivers hesitant to commit to full electric. Why is Ford making these moves now? With mounting losses in its EV division, fierce competition from overseas, and an inventory glut of high-priced vehicles sitting unsold, the company is betting big on this pivot. But will it pay off? Or is Ford risking its leadership in the market? Let's break it all down and see what this means for you. Let's get straight to it. Ford has made a game-changing decision that has everyone talking. The automaker has officially canceled its highly anticipated three-row electric SUV, a project that represented a staggering $2 billion investment. This vehicle was supposed to compete with heavyweights like the Kia EV9 and Volvo EX90, but Ford pulled the plug, citing concerns over financial returns and development costs. This decision shocked the industry, especially as the global push toward electrification continues to dominate headlines. But that's not the only bombshell. Ford is also delaying the next-generation F-150 Lightning, their flagship electric pickup. Despite the Lightning being one of Ford's most ambitious EV projects, slower-than-expected sales and mounting production costs have forced the company to hit the brakes. With inventory piling up and demand not matching projections, Ford is rethinking how it approaches the EV market. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Rather than doubling down on fully electric vehicles, Ford is pivoting to a hybrid-focused strategy. They're betting big on this middle ground, appealing to consumers who aren't ready to go fully electric but still want a greener option. Hybrids offer the convenience of a traditional combustion engine with the added efficiency of electric technology, making them an attractive choice for drivers hesitant about EV range, charging infrastructure, or cost. This isn't just a product decision, it's a strategic shift that could reshape Ford's future. By reallocating resources, the company hopes to reduce losses in its EV division, already estimated at $2 billion in the first half of 2024, and regain financial stability. It's a move designed to address rising competition from Chinese automakers and navigate the rapid depreciation of EVs, which can lose up to half their value in the first year. Ford's decision to pull back on EVs and prioritize hybrids sends a clear message. They're adapting to a market that's evolving more slowly than expected. But with so much at stake, is this the right call? Only time will tell. But for now, Ford's massive announcement is shaking up the industry in ways no one saw coming. So, why is Ford making such dramatic changes now? The answer lies in a mix of financial struggles, competitive pressures, and shifting consumer behavior, all creating the perfect storm for this bold pivot. Let's start with the numbers. Ford's electric vehicle EV division, once hailed as the future of the company, has been bleeding cash. In the first half of 2024 alone, it posted a staggering $2 billion loss, with estimates suggesting that number could climb to $5 billion by the end of the year. Despite initial excitement around models like the F-150 Lightning and Mustang Mach-E, Ford has struggled to sell these vehicles at the volume or profit margins they anticipated. Adding to the pressure is fierce competition from Chinese automakers. These companies are producing EVs with advanced battery technology at lower costs, making it harder for Ford to compete on price. This is especially significant as the global market for EVs becomes increasingly crowded. The ability to offer affordable, reliable electric vehicles is critical, and Ford is finding itself at a disadvantage. Then there's the issue of depreciation. EVs, particularly in Ford's lineup, are losing value rapidly, some dropping as much as 50% in their first year. This has made both consumers and dealerships wary, leading to an overstock of unsold inventory. Rows of F-150 Lightnings and Mustang Mach-Es are sitting on lots, collecting dust. But it's not just about competition and finances. Consumer behavior is also shifting. While there's undeniable interest in EVs, many buyers remain hesitant to make the leap, citing concerns about range, charging infrastructure, and high upfront costs. Ford's pivot to hybrids is a calculated response to this hesitation. Hybrids offer a best-of-both-worlds solution for consumers who want to reduce emissions without fully committing to an electric vehicle. In short, Ford's moves are a reflection of market realities. The EV revolution isn't how to stabilize its finances and regain a competitive edge. But can they pull it off? That's the billion-dollar question. Ford's bold moves aren't just about their own survival. They're sending shockwaves through the entire automotive industry. These decisions reflect larger trends and challenges that are reshaping the market, forcing other automakers to rethink their strategies as well. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room: overproduction. Ford isn't the only company facing the problem of unsold inventory piling up. Across the industry, manufacturers ramped up production during the EV boom, anticipating soaring demand that hasn't fully materialized. As a result, dealerships are overstocked with vehicles, especially high-priced models like SUVs and electric trucks. This inventory glut is driving steep discounts, creating a ripple effect that's putting pressure on everyone from manufacturers to dealerships. Ford's struggles with EV profitability are also raising questions for the entire sector. If a legacy automaker with significant resources is losing billions on electric vehicles, what does that mean for smaller players or those who entered the EV market late? Competitors like GM and Stellantis are watching Ford closely, evaluating whether they need to adjust their own strategies. GM, for instance, has been more cautious with its EV rollout and is faring better financially. Dealerships are feeling the brunt of these changes. Many invested heavily in EV infrastructure, installing charging stations, training staff, and stocking EVs, only to find that sales are falling short of expectations. This has created tension between automakers and dealerships, with some Ford dealerships even returning inventory or liquidating their operations altogether. The push toward direct-to-consumer sales by some automakers is only adding fuel to the fire. Finally, Ford's pivot toward hybrids might set a precedent for other manufacturers. It signals that the transition to fully electric vehicles may not be as straightforward or as quick as many thought. By focusing on hybrids, Ford is effectively acknowledging the current limits of EV adoption and creating a bridge for consumers who aren't ready to make the leap. In the end, Ford's decisions highlight the challenges of balancing innovation with financial sustainability. As the EV market evolves, other automakers may be forced to follow Ford's lead or risk being left behind. Ford's massive pivot isn't just a challenge for the company, it's putting intense pressure on its network of dealerships. These local hubs, which have been the backbone of Ford's sales for decades, are now caught in the crossfire of a rapidly shifting market and Ford's evolving strategy. Let's start with the inventory problem. Dealership lots are overflowing with high-priced vehicles like the Ford Expedition, F-150 Lightning, and Mustang Mach-E. Rows upon rows of these cars are sitting unsold because consumers are balking at their price tags, which can exceed $90,000 for fully loaded models. As these vehicles collect dust, dealerships are incurring floor plan costs, the interest they pay on unsold inventory, which only adds to their financial burden. Ford's EV woes have created a particularly unique challenge. Many dealerships invested heavily in EV infrastructure, installing charging stations, upgrading tools, and training staff to meet the demands of electric vehicles. Now, with EV sales failing to meet expectations, those investments are yielding little to no return. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially for smaller dealerships that lack the financial cushion to absorb these losses. Then there's the issue of consumer trust. During the pandemic, many dealerships charged hefty markups on high-demand models, taking advantage of supply chain shortages. Now, as prices begin to normalize, those same dealerships are struggling to win back customers who felt burned by those practices. It's a reminder that short-term gains can have long-term consequences. Ford's pivot to hybrids and direct-to-consumer EV sales is also straining dealer relationships. By focusing on hybrids, Ford is signaling a shift in product strategy that may leave some dealerships with outdated EV stock. Meanwhile, the growing trend of online sales and factory-to-door delivery is threatening the traditional dealership model entirely. For dealerships, this is a make-or-break moment. Some may adapt by leaning into service and maintenance, or by focusing on more affordable, in-demand vehicles like hybrids. Others may not survive the squeeze. Either way, Ford's dealerships are facing one of the toughest challenges in their history, and how they respond will shape the future of car buying for years to come. So, what does Ford's massive pivot mean for you, the consumer? Whether you're considering an EV, a hybrid, or a traditional gas-powered car, Ford's strategic shifts will impact your buying experience and your wallet in several ways. First, let's talk about prices. Ford's struggles with overstocked inventory and slow EV sales are already driving discounts. Vehicles like the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning are being heavily marked down, with some models selling for thousands below MSRP. This could be a golden opportunity for bargain hunters looking to enter the EV market, especially as Ford aims to clear out inventory before the next generation of models arrives. For those leaning toward hybrids, Ford's new focus could be a big win. By prioritizing hybrid vehicles, the company is filling a gap for consumers who want improved fuel efficiency without fully committing to an EV. Expect to see more hybrid options in Ford's lineup, and possibly at more competitive price points as the automaker invests in this segment. But it's not all good news. If you're eyeing a traditional gas-powered vehicle like the Ford Expedition or F-150, you might be in for some sticker shock. Prices for these models remain high, especially for fully loaded trims, and Ford hasn't indicated plans to significantly reduce them. Financing these vehicles could also be more challenging, as rising interest rates make monthly payments less affordable. Another challenge lies in the shifting dealership experience. Ford's increased focus on direct-to-consumer sales, particularly for EVs, could mean fewer in-person interactions at dealerships. While this might appeal to tech-savvy buyers who prefer the convenience of online shopping, others may miss the hands-on experience of test drives and face-to-face negotiations. So, what's the best move for consumers right now? Patience. If you're shopping for an EV, waiting could bring even steeper discounts as inventory continues to pile up. If you're after a hybrid, keep an eye on Ford's upcoming releases. And for traditional gas vehicles, be prepared to negotiate hard, or consider holding off until prices stabilize. The bottom line? Ford's shifts are creating opportunities and challenges for buyers, and staying informed is your best tool for navigating this changing landscape. Ford's recent moves are bold and signal that the company is preparing for challenges in an evolving automotive market. The big question is whether these changes will help Ford regain stability or leave it struggling to keep pace. Ford's pivot to hybrids is a key part of this strategy. This shift isn't just a temporary adjustment. It's a bet on a segment that bridges traditional gas-powered vehicles and fully electric ones. By focusing on hybrids, Ford aims to appeal to consumers hesitant about EVs but seeking better fuel efficiency and lower emissions. This middle ground approach could succeed, especially in markets where EV adoption is lagging. At the same time, Ford is heavily investing in battery technology. Factories like Blue Oval City in Tennessee and a new plant in Michigan will produce next-gen batteries that are cheaper and more efficient, potentially giving Ford a competitive edge. However, these facilities won't deliver immediate results, leaving Ford to manage short-term challenges. The risks, though, are significant. If hybrid demand declines faster than expected, or if Ford's EV division continues losing money, financial strain could worsen. Additionally, Ford's push toward direct-to-consumer EV sales risks alienating traditional dealerships, potentially reducing local touchpoints and impacting customer satisfaction. Ultimately, Ford's ability to balance short-term realities with long-term innovation will be critical. If successful, Ford could become a model for how legacy automakers adapt. If not, it risks losing ground in an industry that's evolving faster than expected. Ford's bold pivot is sending a strong message to the automotive industry. What's happening at Ford highlights how legacy automakers are navigating the challenges of electrification market pressures, and shifting consumer expectations. One major takeaway? The EV transition is far more complicated than it seemed. Automakers poured billions into electrifying fleets, betting on rapid adoption. Ford's struggles, however, reveal the obstacles: high production costs, fierce competition from Chinese automakers, and limited consumer interest in expensive EVs. This reality is pushing companies to reevaluate strategies, balancing innovation with financial viability. Another key lesson is the need for flexibility. Ford's pivot to hybrids shows the value of offering transitional options. Hybrids appeal to a broader audience, including those not ready to fully embrace EVs. Other automakers may follow Ford's lead, reallocating resources toward hybrid technology in the short term. Ford's dealership challenges also offer a cautionary tale. Exploring direct-to-consumer sales can alienate dealer networks, which have long been central to car sales. Cutting out dealers could lead to backlash, logistical issues, and dissatisfied customers. Automakers must balance online convenience with maintaining strong dealership relationships. Lastly, Ford's inventory glut demonstrates the risks of overproduction and high pricing. Pandemic-era vehicle costs left many buyers priced out, eroding trust. Now, automakers must rebuild confidence by delivering affordability without sacrificing quality. This challenge will resonate across the industry as companies work to win back consumer loyalty. Ford's pivot underscores the transformative period the automotive industry is facing. How competitors adapt to these lessons will shape the next era of car manufacturing. Ford's recent shifts are closely tied to changing government policies and global economic pressures that are reshaping the automotive industry. From tariffs to EV incentives, these factors are heavily influencing Ford's decisions and the future of car manufacturing. One of the immediate challenges Ford faces is tariffs on Mexican-built vehicles. Models like the Mustang Mach-E, manufactured in Mexico, could become significantly more expensive if proposed tariff hikes go into effect. With Ford already struggling to price these vehicles competitively, higher tariffs could further cut into margins and make their EVs even less appealing to buyers. The uncertain future of U.S. EV subsidies adds complexity. For years, automakers have relied on tax credits to make EVs affordable. But shifting political priorities could reduce or eliminate these incentives, especially under administrations less focused on green energy. Without them, Ford and others must find ways to cut production costs or risk losing consumer interest. Ford is countering these pressures with domestic investments. New battery plants in Michigan and Tennessee aim to reduce reliance on foreign suppliers and capitalize on U.S. tax incentives. These facilities are expected to produce next-gen batteries for hybrids and EVs, improving cost efficiency. However, these projects won't yield results immediately, leaving Ford to manage short-term challenges. Government policies also present opportunities. Efforts to build EV charging infrastructure and promote renewable energy could boost EV adoption, benefiting Ford. However, the company must stay agile, ready to adapt to policy changes that could significantly impact its bottom line. Ultimately, Ford's ability to align its strategy with government policies will be crucial. Managing these external pressures could determine whether its bold moves succeed or fail. Ford's bold pivot isn't just about their survival, it's a wake-up call for the entire automotive industry. Their decision to scale back EV investments and prioritize hybrids highlights the gap between ambitious goals and the realities of consumer adoption. The biggest takeaway? Automakers need to adapt to what consumers want now, not just chase the ideal future. EV adoption has been slower than expected due to high costs, range anxiety, and infrastructure challenges. Ford's move toward hybrids could set a precedent, encouraging other automakers to rethink their timelines for full electrification. Another lesson lies in managing inventory and pricing. Ford's overproduction and high price tags alienated customers, especially during tough economic times. Other manufacturers are likely to take note, focusing on affordability and avoiding the same pitfalls of excessive inventory. Lastly, Ford's pivot shows the importance of balancing innovation and financial sustainability. Bold moves like EV production require massive investments, but without careful execution, the risks can outweigh the rewards. As the EV market evolves, Ford's experience will serve as a guide and a warning for competitors. In the end, Ford's massive announcement is more than a single decision. It's a roadmap for how the automotive industry is evolving. From canceled EV projects to a renewed focus on hybrids, Ford is recalibrating its strategy to navigate the challenges of electrification and shifting consumer demand. For consumers, this creates opportunities to snag great deals on EVs and access new hybrid options. For competitors, it's a chance to learn from Ford's challenges and recalibrate their own strategies. And for Ford, the stakes couldn't be higher. Whether these bold moves secure Ford's place in the future of the industry or mark a misstep in its storied history remains to be seen. One thing's for sure, the road ahead for Ford and the automotive world just got a lot more interesting.